Today we are going to be talking about the beginning of World War I and the rise of dictators in Central Europe. Prior to talking about these rise of dictators in Europe, I want to review the Treaty of Versailles and the impact it had on Central Europe. The Treaty of Versailles is a peace settlement for World War I. It was signed at Versailles Palace outside of Paris, France. It was signed on June 28, 1919. It blamed Germany for the war and required Germany to not have a say in the terms of the treaty. It was established by the Big Three: Churchill, Wilson, and Clemenceau. There are a few terms of the treaty which all affected Germany as a nation. The first term of the treaty was that Germany must demilitarize. This means they are only allowed 100,000 men in the military. They are not allowed to have an air force. West Rhineland must be demilitarized. This is the land that's in between Germany and France. And the Allies are allowed to keep an army in the Rhineland for 15 years. The second term of the treaty was that Germany must give up its territories to the Allied powers. This means that most of their colonies will go to France, Poland, and Russia. Germany must also sign a war guilt clause. This means that they must take complete responsibility for the war, and they must pay reparations for the war. In other words, they were able to have to pay the United States, Great Britain, and France money back for actually causing a war in Europe. The three big were happy with these terms. They thought it weakened Germany, but still kept them strong as a controlled nation. In addition, they believed that the French borders were safe from German attack. And last but not least, we see the creation of the League of Nations. Although this is President Wilson's idea to create a peace governing body within Central Europe, the United States Congress does not sign the League of Nations in fear of becoming involved in more European affairs. As Europe deals with the reparations and the recovery from World War I, we see dictators rise in Central Europe. One of the reasons why is that a worldwide depression hits most major countries within Europe and even the world at this point after World War I. The United States is one of the only countries in which we see times flourish as opposed to an immediate depression. Places like Spain, Italy, and Germany welcome dictators because they have a lost hope in democracy and want a strong leader to correct the problems. These strong leaders promise solutions to the problems and ensure the country and the citizens that they can make things better. The idea of fascism rises within Europe, and this is a political movement that promotes extreme nationalism or pride in one's country, imperialism or taking over other colonies, a dictatorial government in which there is only one leader, the denial of individual rights. To me, this would be the most important because now the people in these countries have no decision-making powers at all. Because we see a one-party system, a one leader develop and control these nations. Fascism needs the following things in order to work. Many of the people need to have blind loyalty to the leader. They don't question what the leader says. The state is going to be controlling the economy and who gets what powers within the economy. Again, as mentioned previously, patriotism or extreme nationalism also has to occur. There needs to be censorship and propaganda in order to prove to the people that these leaders are able to do their job. Violence and terror are rampant through these countries. Unfortunately, for people living in these countries, they live in fear of their leaders. There is a strong military presence within the streets and the countries of fascist leaders. At this point, you have all the information you need to know in regards to why we see the beginning of World War II happen from the Treaty of Versailles. We will be using this information to create a project on leaders of World War II by using a Prezi. On your class site, you will see this document that says Leaders of World War II Prezi Project. The United States has always had a democratic government, although that is not always the case for European countries. Each group is going to research a specific leader of World War II and create a Prezi presentation. Prezi presentations are free to create, and you're able to work on them with your classmates without being in the same area. Luckily for us, it saves all of your information online, so there's no reason for you to have to save anywhere hard copy. On this list, you'll notice that there are bullets here that list the requirements for the project. Please review these. They are not the only thing you should include in your project, but please make sure they are included. Creativity is also important. You want to make sure that you enjoy doing this project because you will be showing it to your classmates and then responding to a class discussion. As always, if there are any questions, please email me and let me know. Otherwise, good luck, and I'm looking forward to seeing what your projects look like.